Hello and welcome. My name is Lucia. How to Stretch Deeper is a workshop I had on Zoom on the 19th of December. Make sure today you have some yoga bricks, blocks, strap, pillows, and whatever other props you might need, such as a chair, and of course your yoga mat and some water. We will have a PowerPoint presentation about 30 minutes long, where we will briefly explore the science and anatomy of stretching. This workshop was done supporting Children with Cancer UK. So find a comfortable seat by your computer and let's start our PowerPoint presentation. The aim of this workshop is to increase your knowledge about stretching. Learn methods to safely deepen your stretches and practice applying those methods. What is stretching? Stretching occurs at the level of the skeletal muscles. Muscles have two sides that attach in the bone, the origin side and the insertion side. Stretching a muscle means to move its origin and insertion further apart. Effects of stretching. Stretching triggers the release of endorphins, creating a sense of relaxation and well-being. Why can't I stretch like that? It's a question that I hear a lot. 3 factors will determine how mobile a joint can be: bone shape, the capsuloligamental structures surrounding the joints, the muscles that surround the joint. The first factor, bone shape, we cannot change. The second one, the capsuloligamental structures surrounding the joints, we should not change, as they are there to protect the joint and to give it stability. It is the third factor, the muscles that surround the joint, that we can change. By using several methods of stretching on a regular basis, we can transform the shape and length of muscles and fascia in our bodies. Bone shape. We will use the pelvic girdle as an example. The pelvic girdle holds the hip joint, a ball and socket synovial joint, and one of the most important joints in the body when it comes up to mobility. In this picture, we can see there are differences in the position, shape, and depth of the acetabulum, the cavity on the sides of the pelvis where the head of the femur connects to form the hip joint. On the picture on the left, the acetabulum is located slightly more to the front, anterior, than in the picture of the right, where it is located more to the side, lateral. A person with the same bone anatomy of the pelvic girdle on the left will probably find it easier to externally rotate the hips. There are also anatomical differences in the male and female pelvic girdle. The male pelvis is narrower and the acetabulum are closer comparing to the female. So usually, men don't have as much mobility in the hip joints as women. Another factor that influences the mobility of the hip joint is the femoral angle of inclination. This is the angle that results from the intersection of a line down the long shaft of the femur and the line drawn through the neck of the femur. Usually, the normal angle is around 120 to 125 degrees for an adult and 125 degrees for an older person. And in a child around 3, it is around 135 degrees. An increase in this angle results in a deformity called cuscia valga, and a decrease is called cuscia vara. A bigger angle allows more external rotation of the hip. That is also usually seen in dancers. The second factor that determines how mobile a joint can be is the capsuloligamental structure surrounding the joint. The capsules and ligaments that surround the joint aim at protecting and creating stability in the joint. The tissue of the ligaments does not have much elasticity, but also has a very poor blood supply. So when it gets injured, it can take a long time to heal. We shouldn't put too much stress in these tissues and never overextend our joints to prevent injury to these structures. In this image, we can see how the anatomy of the pelvic girdle can allow someone to sit effortlessly in Padmasana or lotus pose, whereas for most people, that is not attainable. The pressure applied in a joint will transmit itself to the adjacent joint. So when trying forcefully to come into a lotus pose without having enough external rotation at the hip, it will put too much pressure in the knee joint. The knee joint is a hinged joint and doesn't have much capacity for rotation, so there is a risk of injury to ligaments surrounding the knee joint, and especially the meniscus, the cartilage that cushions the femur and tibia bones at the knee joint. So we know that we can't change the bones, and we shouldn't change the capsuloligamental structure surrounding the joints. So the last factor that determines how mobile a joint can be is the skeletal muscles, and that is where we can have transformation. We can stretch the muscles, the fascia, and connective tissues in our bodies to effect a change in their length and shape and achieve more mobility and flexibility in our bodies. And this is where we will be working on today. This slide is also a good example to show how joint mobility and stability function in a yin-yang fashion. The greater the mobility, the lesser the stability, and vice versa. In this picture, we can see the man on the left, probably a bodybuilder, has a lot of stability but probably less flexibility or mobility, whereas the man on the right, probably a dancer, has lots of flexibility and mobility but probably less stability. Quite often dancers overextend their joints, creating injury because they're so flexible. The man in the middle is probably a gymnast, and he has a better balance between stability and flexibility. His training routine combines both strength and flexibility exercises, so he gets the best of both. Why isn't my flexibility improving? There could be several factors, but the most important is your lifestyle, because sitting at a desk for many hours, hunching over your phone, driving for many hours, all these actions will make your muscles stiff. Also, your regular sport or exercise program could be making your muscles tighter and therefore less mobile. CrossFit, any cycling program, football, jogging, obstacle races, all these programs can make you stronger and more stable but less mobile. Myths about stretching. I was never flexible and can't improve my flexibility. You can improve flexibility at any age. You can improve your flexibility and mobility at any age if you practice stretching regularly. With age, women's bones become more fragile, and conditions such as osteoporosis and arthritis can develop. So physical exercise and flexibility training, if done in a safe way, will help to keep the muscles and joints healthy. Myths about stretching. If I practice yoga, I will instantly become more flexible. Flexibility gains do not happen without a targeted training. In yoga, many times the poses are not held long enough to generate transformation in the muscles, ligaments, fascia, and connective tissues around those joints. In a regular yoga class, all those tissues will be stretched but return to their natural state. It is thought that for flexibility results, the amount of time under passive tension is a key factor to effect change in the length of the muscles and connective tissue surrounding a joint. In this picture, you can see how muscles look. They are surrounded by fascia, all in groups of bundles of fibers, and we can stretch all those fibers and the fascia that surrounds them. The best type of stretching to effect transformation on these tissues is time under passive tension. We will look into it further ahead. There are 3 methods of stretching: ballistic stretching, passive stretching, and facilitated stretching. Ballistic stretching involves bouncing and jumping into or out of a stretched position. The stretched muscles are used as a spring to pull you out of a stretched position. It is commonly used in warming up in many sports such as football, martial arts, gymnastics, at the gym, and so on. In yoga, the warming up sequence of sun salutations are ballistic stretching. Passive stretching uses the body weight and gravity. The body sits still in a position for a longer time to turn off the stretch reflex so the muscle relaxes. Creates change in the length of the muscle and fascial sheath. Facilitated stretching, also known as PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, involves briefly contracting the muscles we want to stretch. This stimulates the Golgi tendon organ stretch receptor, allowing the muscle to relax. In this pose, seated bound angle, Hanumanasana, we are trying to stretch the muscles of the inner thigh, the adductors. If we press the legs up onto the forearms and the forearms gently down into the legs and hold for between 10 to 30 seconds, we create a contraction on the adductors, the inner leg muscles, which will make the muscle relax more as we release the tension, and then we can go deeper into the stretch. This contraction should never be more than 20% of the maximum capacity to prevent injury at the tendon. More about this further ahead. Ways to deepen the stretch: using the origin and insertions, using the spinal cord reflexes, we've got 3: muscle spindle stretch reflex, reciprocal inhibition, and the Golgi tendon organ, or PNF. And lastly, using time under passive tension. We're coming up to the physical part of the workshop. We're going to put into practice everything we've learned so far. So come into your mat and sit in a comfortable position so we can start.
So you can sit in Sukhasana, cross-legged if you want, or you can also sit in Vajrasana if you want. Maybe bring a pillow, but this is a meditation pillow, is a bit too big, but you could bring a pillow and sit like this. Otherwise, use either your meditation pillow or just sit normally cross-legged. Find your comfortable position. Root down from your sit bones, bring your hands to your knees, and take a deep breath in and out. So have a little body scan for your position. Make sure your shoulders are right on top of your hips, so you're not sitting to the side or to the front or to the back. Just the correct alignment. Your spine is nice and straight. Relax your shoulders to the back, relax your neck. And we're just going to breathe a little bit natural, and then we're going to try and do a little bit of a variation of the Kapalabhati breathing. So the shining skull breathing, but a bit easier, because I know some of you today never done it before, and these pranayama practices can be hard. So let's just breathe naturally in through the nose and out through the nose. You can close your eyes if you want to. And now we're going to try to bring our hands in our lower belly. So maybe kind of like interlocking the fingers almost. So they just sit nicely here. And then we're going to try and breathe naturally. And when we breathe out, we're going to try to contract our belly. So when we're breathing out, when you're exhaling, we squeeze the belly. And then when we breathe in, we're going to let the belly release. So let's just try and do that. Breathing in, releasing. Breathing out, squeezing. So try to do that a few more breaths. You can also do like that deep breath, constricting the back of the throat so it sounds more like the ocean, the Ujjayi breathing. And after trying a few times like that, you can try to release your hands to the sides, maybe thighs, maybe knees. And let's do the same thing, but without the hands. So we're going to breathe in. And as we breathe out, we're going to squeeze the belly a little bit in. And then as we inhale again, we're going to let the belly release naturally. But so let's not just drop the belly completely. So with control, everything with control. So let's go. Breathing in. As you breathe out, squeeze the belly in. Breathe in, let the belly release. And again, breathe out, squeeze the belly in. Breathe in, let the belly release. So this is like a very easy variation of the Kapalabhati breathing. And we're doing it very gentle now. But if we would want to do this more energetically, it's not really recommended for anybody who would have high blood pressure or any cardio or vascular system problems, or pregnant or menstruating. But we're just doing it very gentle today, so you're free to try this. So let's go. Breathing in. As you breathe out, squeeze your belly. Breathe in and let the belly release. All right, now stop and breathe naturally for a few breaths. Let's just try one more round of 5 of these Kapalabhati breathings, and then we move on to our seated warm-up. Let's breathe in. As you breathe out, squeeze the belly. As you breathe in, release. All right, release. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And now let's just start to bring some movement into our shoulders, rotating the shoulders gently to the back. Maybe wider circles if it feels good, and then inversing. So just bringing them to the front, staying away from those painful ranges. And now let's just turn gently our head to the right. And then breathe into the center, breathe out to the left. Breathe into the center. Let's bring our right hand to the left side of our head and gently press the head to the right. But try to make resistance here. So you feel a little bit of a stretch here, not too much, but you should feel a nice stretch there when you resist with the hand. And then breathe in, let's come to the other side. Breathe in and breathe out, resist a bit with the hand. Release, Now let's tuck the chin to the chest. Feel the lengthening on the back of your neck. And then gently return and then look up, bringing the chin up. And then maybe you want to have some head circles. So let's just tuck the chin very slowly to the right, back, left, and center. Maybe another one with your breath, breathing in and breathing out. Let's try the other side. So tucking the chin, coming to the left, gently, slowly, and coming back to center. And let's breathe in again to the left and breathing out. All right, let's breathe the arm up and then just expand the arms, push away, feel that outwards energy, Vayanavayu, push away, feel that energizing your arms, and now point the fingers to the floor, Apanavayu, downward sense of energy, and to the sky, Udanavayu. Now starting to energize our arms with the subtle energies in our body. Just feel that sensation. And now let's just bring the right hand to the left knee or to the left thigh and just turn to twist to the back. A gentle twist here, lengthening from the crown of the head again, Udanavayu. And then releasing, coming to the side now. Breathing in and breathing out to the back. Now come to the center, let's breathe in. As you breathe out, bring your right hand to the floor. Apanavayu, downward sense of energy, and then outwards energy. Vayanavayu, from the crown of the head, we want to lengthen, so we're not just putting all the pressure here on the side for the side flexion, and then breathing in and breathing out to the other side. Just a little bit of movement here. Now bring your hands to the floor, and if you're sitting on a pillow, you can remove it. We're going to continue our floor warm-up, and then we're going to do some sun salutations, and then we're going to start practicing our stretches. So we're going to alternate a little bit of PowerPoint with every stretch method we'll do. So come into a child's pose, so toes together. And then a little bit of space in between your knees, and let yourself breathe out to the back. And then from here, just root yourself down, feel that energy coming from earth into your body. Now you're going to press through the hands, distributing the weight through the fingers, and let's just come into a modified cat and cow. So look up, chin up, tailbone up, and then we curl into ball and we release here. So we breathe in to a cow, breathe out to a cat. So out of movement. Starting to bring some movement into our spine, into our body. And now we're going to do something a little bit different, more intense. So we're going to press through the hands. Now curve your upper back, tuck the ears in between your shoulders, and then when the hips are on the same level as the knee, we're going to lift the feet, continue the wave until the shoulders are on top of the wrists, and then you can drop the hips all the way down, push the floor away, shoulders away from the ears, look up to the sky. And then we're going to reverse, push the floor away as you breathe out, and let yourself come all the way down. Let's go again slowly, breathing in, hips are on top of the bum, lift the feet, continue to let the wave come down, maybe a little bit deeper, toes pointing to the head if you can, and then tuck the chin, push the floor away. When the hips are on top of the knees, you can release the feet down and return. And now just make it yours. You want to go a little bit faster? Go ahead. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. All right, now come with the knees a bit closer, so you're in a tabletop position, shoulders on top of your wrists and the hips on top of your knees. we're going to do a little bit of hip movements here. So we're going to bring your front hip, should be your right hip if you're mirroring me, just some rotational moves. So I'm going to turn to you so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm on the tabletop here. I'm just going to move my hip like this. And then I'm going to invert from the back to the front. And then I'm going to bring the same leg, a little bit higher here. And then I'm going to open it out to the side and then let it drop, meet the other one. So starting to activate our hips, the hip joint, noticing the differences in a while from your left and your right. Touch down, let's go on the other hip. So left hip now, rotating outwards, gentle, and you can go very slowly, so no fast movements that put too much pressure on the hip joint, it's not warm enough. So you can look in between your hands in the floor. Let's reverse the movement of the hip, reversing. So noticing those little funny noises sometimes the hips make when we're trying to wake them up. They don't want to wake up, leave me alone. All right, now we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to turn this side so you can see me better. So you're going to lift, open to the side. Let's show it from here. So you lift, open to the side, a bit higher you can see, and then down. Lift, side, and down. All right, now from your tabletop, you're going to extend the front legs, the right leg, to the side. So then the hip is on the same line as the knee and the foot, and you're inverting the foot. So you're placing the whole sole of the foot on the floor. And if this feels good, maybe you want to come down, keeping the legs straight and trying to keep the whole sole of the foot on the floor, relaxing a bit here. And then again, noticing how does this feel. And we can try and do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to turn around because I've got a door on the other side. But it's the same thing. So you bring the foot, invert it, keep this alignment, hips, knees, foot. And then gently just notice how deep can you come here, leaving the sole there of the foot. So feel the stretching here of all these lower leg muscles inwards and inside. This is a great exercise to waken up all these muscles. All right, now from here, you can just bring the foot to the back, keep it inverted the same, pivot through this right leg, and then just come into a modified side plank. And if you want more, you can make it a modified wild thing. So you can open your chest, feel the prana vayu, the circle of energy in your body right now. And then releasing. And let's do the same with the other leg. So I'm just going to turn because of my door over there. So if you want, you can start from here and then just bring the foot down, pivot through this one, and then breathe in, come into your modified plank, and you can just stay here, making sure that the shoulder's on top of your wrist. If you want more, you can come and open more the chest to the back. And then release back. Now bring your back leg inwards so you can sit down, and let's sit into a modified pigeon pose. We're going to bring this leg closer. So it's more actually like a chin box, 90 chin box. And we're going to bring the hands to the knees. We're going to just bring the pelvis forward. And then we're going to come to this side, so to your left side. And feel the twist here. Then we're gonna come back to the center and we're gonna go to the other side. Maybe stay a bit up higher here, so with a straight spine on this one. You're gonna go back, press the hands on the floor, come into a tabletop, and we're gonna do everything on the other side. So sit, bring the front leg, the right leg inwards, bend the back leg, find that comfortable position of a chin box, so maybe bring the arc of the foot into your knee. Find your sit bones, stay here, and then turn to your right and feel the stretch here. Now let's come to this side now. Keeping the back straight, lengthening from the crown of the head, using the back arm for support. Now bring your hands back and just bring yourself into a down dog. So from tabletop, tuck the toes in and then press and come into a downward facing dog. So hands, shoulders distance apart, feet hip distance apart. You can micro bend the knees here if you need to. If your hamstrings are still tight, try to bring your head quite inside your arms. So you're looking at your knees or maybe at your navel, Nadi Vistri, pushing away the floor, feeling those energies at work here. And then maybe you just want to walk this dog a little bit, bending one knee at a time. Maybe even bending both knees and then pivoting through both the pads of the toes and then the feet, and then just bringing the knees to one side, to the other. Maybe you want to just stay here. So choose what you want to do. Bring the navel in towards your spine and up towards your chest. And now from here, we're going to walk the hands back to the feet. And we're going to breathe in, lengthen. And as we breathe out, we try to bring our chest really close to our thighs and just release here for a moment. Swinging from one side to the other. Ragdoll here. And then bring the hands down so you can bring the weight into your hands so you can lift the toes and open them to the sides to come into a squat. You can stay in a high squat here, or you can try and come all the way down into a Hanumanasana low squat here. So it would look like this. You can stay here with the arms here. And then we can bring our right hand to the floor and our left hand is going to point to the sky and feel that energy on your fingertips. And then we're going to change, breathing in and breathing out. Release the hands down. And from here, bring the weight again into your hands. Pivot again through the heels so your toes are now pointed to your hands, and then we're going to walk again to a downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Really feeling those shoulders moving away from the ears, the shoulder blades sliding down the spine and away from the middle line. The legs are gently inwardly rotating so you feel them really energetically activated. And then look at your hands, bend the knees and just walk the feet to your hands. So take a breath here, breathe in, breathe out, release. And then you can gently come all the way up. Let's bring the feet together or hip distance apart. So we're just going to warm up a little bit with our sun salutations, and then we're going to go back to the PowerPoint so we can learn the first method and start working up on our methods to stretch deeper. So let's go. Breathing in, Surya Namaskar, hands together. Bend the knees, come all the way down. And then you can either lift the hands to the chins or to the floor, fingertips light on the floor, straight back, straight neck, straight legs. And then release the hands back to the sides of the feet. Step your right leg back, step the left leg and come into a plank. Shoulders on top of your wrists. If it's too hard, just drop it on your knees. And then let's just come all the way down with control. And then rotate the shoulders to the back, so you're lifting the upper body from the floor, chin parallel to the floor in a cobra. Tuck the knees, tuck the toes, and push yourself into a downward facing dog. And now from here, let's have 2 breaths. Bend the knees deeply, look at your hands. Lunge your right foot in between your hands. So sometimes you get stuck, and then you just bring your hand and help it. And then you lift the chest, bring your other leg in, and come into an Ardha Uttanasana. So half forward fold, release back down, and then breathe all the way up to your Uttita Tadasana, extended mountain pose, and release your arms to the sides. Let's start again with breath, and you can make it as fast as you want. So breathing in and breathing out. Breathe in, breathe out, step to a plank and lower. Chaturanga. Now breathing in, maybe up dog now, or stay down in cobra, squeeze the butt. Breathing out to your Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Have 2 breaths. So make sure the belly button is going in. You're distributing the weight in the fingers and the palms of the hand, not just the wrist. Bend the knee. Lunge your left foot in between your hands. Lift the chest. And then bring the other leg and come into an Ardha Uttanasana. As you breathe in, breathe out, release. Breathe in, rise and shine. Breathe out, release your hands. So again, let's have another one. You can make it your own and just move with your breath. Union, breath, movement. Breathing in, you can step or jump into a plank and then go straight into a vinyasa. And downward facing dog. Let's bend the knee deeply. Look at your hands. You can step or jump to the front into an Ardha Uttanasana. Releasing down. And then rise and shine. Breathe. Hands to the stars and release it. Let's just have 1 round of Surya Namaskar B, so you can start really warming up our hips. Starting to prepare our hips for peak pose of today. So coming to chair pose, Utkatasana. So you're going to try and look to your thumbs here, Angushta Drishti. Tuck your belly button in. So lots of people trying to bring the butt back, so you don't want to do that. You tuck it in. All right. And then release down. Come into an Ardha Uttanasana. Step or jump to your plank, Vinyasana. So try to have a 90-degree angle here in your Chaturanga. And then you can come up into an up dog, down dog. We're not staying here breathing. We're going to bend the knees. We're going to bring the right foot in between the hands. Adjust the back foot to a warrior 1, so the heel is further out on the toes. Hips are square to the front knee on top of your heel, of your ankle. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, coming down back toward Vinyasana. So plank, Chaturanga, up dog, down dog. This time bend the knees, the left foot's gonna come in between the hands. Back foot grounded to warrior 1. Breathe in. Breathe out, hands through the middle line, back into your vinyasa. Let's have 5 breaths here. So take a moment to notice the sensations in your body. All that energy coming from earth into your body and from your body into earth. The rhythmic movement and noise of your breath. Bend your knees deeply, look at your hands, step or jump into an Ardha Uttanasana, release down. Bend the knees deeply, come in Utkatasana, chair pose. Maybe come a little bit lower if you can. And then bring that energy to the sky and release your arms to the sides. Alright guys, now we should start to be feeling quite warm up. We're just going to go very quickly to the sharing the screen so I can show you what we're going to do now.
We're going to practice the first way to deepen a stretch. We're going to use the pose Janu Sirsasana, seated nose to knee pose. We start by coming into seated head to knee pose and finding our set length, the point the brain recognizes as the end of the stretch, when you feel a mild discomfort. Next, we bend the knee. This will relax the muscles under the lower leg, mainly the calf or gastrocnemius, creating more space for its insertion at the heel bone to move freely. Then, if we press the hands or a strap on the foot to bring it closer to you, you will create more space and length between the origin and insertion of the calf muscle. When we squeeze the quads to straighten the knee, while still holding the foot flexed, we amplify this lengthening between the origin and insertion. We can then bend the knee again to relax, this time the hamstrings muscle under the upper leg, allowing the torso to come further down as the psoas, the hip flexor muscle, takes advantage of that space created when the hamstrings relax and the knee bends. When we straighten the knee again, we created more distance between the hamstrings' origin at the sit bones, ischial tuberosities, and the lower leg bone, the tibia. Keep pulling the foot towards you and leaning forward from the hips, and then bend the knee again to release the lower leg muscles and come deeper again from the hip, trying to bring the belly to the thigh. This will create lengthening in the gluteus maximus, the bottom muscle. And when we straighten the knee again, it will create more distance between the origin and insertion of the gluteus maximus, and then the muscles that run through the whole length of the spine.
Let's come into our Janu Sirsasana. Alright, so let's sit in Dandasana staff pose. And if you need, you can wear a strap here too. So point the toes to the ceiling, and we're going to bend our front leg. In this case, if you're mirroring me, it should be your right leg. And we can use your strap here if you need to. So just try to be with a straight back, lengthening from the crown of the head, engaging your leg, and just stay here. So the first thing we're going to do now is to bend the knee. So we're going to bend the knee. When we bend the knee, we're relaxing this muscle here, right? And now that the muscle is relaxed, we're just going to try and bring the foot closer, so flex more the foot. What happens when you flex more the foot is that you created more space now here from the insertion. So you gain space on this from the distance between the origin and insertion. And now that we gain that space, we're going to contract our quads so it can come a little bit, extend the knee and come a little bit lower from the hips. And now we're going to bend the knee again, bend the knee again. And as we bend the knee, we're relaxing the hamstrings, so the back of the lower leg muscles. And now that we relax them, we're going to create more space, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to try and even bring more the belly down. And now we created more space, but we still have the knee bent here. But now we're going to try and contract those quads again, and we're coming deeper. So basically, it's like when you're tying up a belt. You are going from each little hole of the belt, and every time you squeeze your belly more, you gain more space, and then you try to go to the next hole of the belt, and then you squeeze your belly more, and then you try to go to the next point. So it's just similar. We are trying a chain reaction of gaining little bits of space in between the muscles because all the muscles are connected. So now if you bend the knee one more time, and then you can start to feel that you're creating more length on the back here, on the gluteus, and then it's going to go up your back. So at the end, you created all this space, and then you can come much, much deeper. I couldn't do this. If I didn't have all these stages, I couldn't go straight into this. So this is what insertions is all about. So you can release. I'm going to show it from this side. So shake your legs a little bit. Bring your hands to the back. Move your legs from side to side. And then just proud chest here, releasing the lower back here. And let's do everything on the other side. So again, you can use your strap if you need to. Nice straight, so you're not just all bent to the side, straight here. And then, again, if you can reach your feet, that's good, otherwise use your strap. Reach your foot and find that place that your body's telling you, okay, I don't want to go any further, that's fine, it's starting to get a little uncomfortable. So stop there. And now what you're going to do is that you're going to bend the knee. Bend the knee, and now you're going to bring the foot closer, bring the toes closer to you. You created more space here in the insertion and the origin. Now we're going to squeeze the quads so we can straighten the knee and bring the pelvis forward. So bring the pelvis forward, so we get a bit more space there. We're going to do the same thing. So you have to keep holding the foot so we don't lose that length that we're creating. And then bend the knee again. Now we want to relax the hamstrings here. And then we're going to try and come a little bit deeper. And now we're going to stretch again and become even deeper. And you're starting to feel the lengthening on your butt here and going up your leg. So if you do that one more time, try that. Bend the knee, hold it for a few breaths. And then creating more space, and now you can come even deeper. Step by step, gathering all those little distances that we collected every time we bent the knee, and we created space between the origins and the insertions. And then release gently and come all the way up. Stand both legs, shake the legs, one side, the other. Now bend the knees so that coming to a capital M here. So the chins are diagonal here and the feet are hip distance apart. And then just press through the hips so you can lift a bit here, coming to a modified reverse tabletop here. And then come down. All right, so we're gonna come up back to the screen.
The second way to deepen the stretch using the spinal cord reflexes is muscle spindle stretch receptors. This is also known as the muscle stretch reflex. It is a natural reflex the muscles have in response to stretching within the muscle. The muscle spindle stretch receptors are specialized muscle cells whose job is to detect change in the muscle length and tension. They then transmit that information to the brain via the afferent sensory nerve throughout the spinal cord, and the brain then sends information back to the muscle via the efferent nerve to tell the muscle to contract to protect it from injury from overstretching. We can come deeper into stretches by turning off this stretch reflex. The way to do that is to come out of the stretch, wait a while, so the muscle spindles stop firing up signals to the brain. Then the brain stops telling the muscle to contract, and as the muscle relaxes, we can try and come deeper into the stretch again.
Bring a chair or bring your bricks. Put them feet distance apart. And first we're going to go into a normal Uttanasana. So let's take a deep breath in here and then bend the knees and come down. And then when you're here, try to straighten your legs by bringing the kneecaps up, engaging the quads. And then just relax your head down, maybe some yeses and nos. Maybe you want to come with the hands crossed, holding your elbows. And then start to feel it now, your hamstrings. Ouchie, I don't want to go any further, you know? So start to feel that tension, hamstrings, and it's not only the hamstrings really, it's the whole posterior chain here on your legs and even your back. We're stretching all the whole posterior chain with this pose. So feel the tension, and now we're going to come out of it. Bring your hands here and keep your legs straight and just have a few breaths here. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep engaging your legs, but just releasing that tension. So now those muscle spindles are going to stop sending messages to the brain, and the brain is going to stop asking the muscles to contract to protect the muscles. So when we go next, you're going to notice a difference. You can come a little bit deeper. So let's all breathe in, gently start releasing and coming into our pose. Maybe you even want to bring the hands to the heels and just try to bring the chest closer to your legs. Just hold here for a while. Now feel the tension again starting to build up, because now you're applying more pressure, right? You're holding your ankles here. So now your muscle spindles are firing again, and the muscles are going to be contracting again. So let's release it. Let's stop. Let's turn off the switch. Turning off the switch. Dip your belly button in. Have a few breaths here. Relaxing. The muscles are starting to relax, and you can feel it in your legs. And when we're going to go one for a time, you're going to keep trying to hold onto your feet or to your heels and try and see if you can come a little bit deeper, because now the muscles are relaxed again, right? So let's go breathing in and breathing out. And that's how we go step by step deeper, deepening the poses, turning off the stretch reflex. Bend the knees deeply, bring the hands to the floor, step down here, and just move your hips from side to side, just releasing a little bit. And then come into a camel pose here. You can tuck the toes if you prefer, bring the hands to the back, elbows in, open the chest, breathe in and breathe out. And release. All right, so we've done through all the methods. Let's continue.
The second method to deepen the stretch using the spinal cord reflexes is reciprocal. Reciprocal inhibition. This describes the relaxation of muscles on one side of a joint to allow the contraction on the other side. It is also known as the reflexive antagonism, and it works a bit like yin-yang. As for one muscle on one side of the joint to contract, the other has to relax. In this picture, you can see that the quads or tights muscles are sent signals by the brain to contract to straighten the knee. And at the same time, the hamstrings are sent signals to relax to allow that to happen. We're going to come into our mats and practice this with wide-legged forward fold, Upavishta Konasana.
Maybe just bring two small pillows under your knees or bend your knees a little bit. Otherwise, just find that place where your body's telling you, okay, that's it, I don't want to go more. So open as much as you can. And now we're going to point the toes up to the sky, and then we're going to try to bring the knees to the back. So just try to bring the knees open, the necks to the back. When you do so, it's kind of like your pelvis starts to curving. When you open your legs to the back, your back starts to curving. So let's just try to keep the knees to the back, but then move the pelvis forward. So you're really nice here, straight line, fingertips slide on the floor. And we are ready to go into play around with the reciprocal inhibition reflex. So what we're going to do here is we are going to squeeze our muscles in our thighs so much that we're going to lift the heels off the floor. Okay, let's all try to bring the kneecaps up. So squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Now touch it, feel how hard they are. Keep the fingertips light here, and then let's just try to move forwards and backwards with our pelvis. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see the movement. I'm adding the reciprocal inhibition, but also with a little bit of more. So we're squeezing, 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 and then we're just going to move, pelvis moves forwards and then backs. So tucking the tailbone and bringing the pubic bone to the back. Bringing the pubic bone to the back, tailbone up, and then reversing. Just doing this movement, backwards and forwards. The whole time, the heels are lifting off the floor and we're squeezing the legs here. All right, now go back to neutral and release. Release, relax your quads now. And now try to see if you can come deeper, walking the hands, and try to see if you can come a bit deeper here. But don't let the feet go inwards, so keep bringing the feet to the back, pointing the toes to the sky and the knees to the back. Now we're going to do the same. We're going to keep squeezing our quads. So squeeze so much that your heel starts to lift. And then just hold it here. Now we're just holding and squeezing. Squeeze, squeeze, breathe. Breathe in and out, hold. And now release everything, relax. And now just try to see if you can come a little bit deeper until you find that discomfort, all right? Now just hold it here, relax everything, try to relax. And now let's do one more time. Squeeze your quads, squeeze, 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 lifting those heels. Breathing in, creating length here too. You're pushing the floor away with your hands, but you also Vayana outwards energy from the crown of the head. Feel that energy to the sides, to your heels pointing away. And then the rooting energy, Apanavayu, your hands pressing on the floor, your inner thighs, and then release everything. Relax your thighs. And then try to see if you can come a little bit deeper. So you can be in your forearms here if you want. Just breathing in and breathing out. So that's how we do it. We go slowly, bit by bit. And then if you can bring your chest, then maybe you can release your hands and even push gently, opening the legs further out. And then you can come out at the end of it, relaxing again. We're mixing a little bit of the other one, coming out to turn off the stretch reflex. And then when we come deeper, you can come much deeper now. But just so to show you, this one was the reciprocal inhibition. So we're contracting the quads to relax the hamstrings. But in reality, when we're doing all these stretches, we can use lots of methods together. So let's bring the hands together. Let's shake, 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 shake. Now bring the knees bent. And let's just drop the knees to one side, look to the other. Drop the knees to the other side and look to the back. Just getting a little bit of release here from the legs. Internal rotation here and a release to the back from the forward folds. And then let's come and have a look what's next. So we're reaching the end of our methods and we're gonna very soon come into our peak pose preparation. So I'm gonna share the screen again.
The third method to deepen a stretch using the spinal cord reflexes is the Golgi tendon organ. This is a sensory receptor organ that senses changes in the muscle tension. It is located at the junction between the muscle and the tendon. In a way, the Golgi tendon organ is more concerned with the tendon being injured. The difference between this reflex and the stretch reflex is that the brain will tell the muscle to relax instead of contracting, as in the stretch reflex. Because when the muscle relaxes, there is less tension at the tendon and therefore less risk of injury to the tendon. The Golgi tendon organ reflex is used in a stretching method called PNF, or proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, many times used by physiotherapists. It involves contracting for a brief period of time the muscle we want to stretch. The important thing to remember is that this contraction should never be more than 20% of the maximum potential of your contraction capacity to prevent injury at the tendon level.
And sit down for Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together. You can try to bring the heels as close as you can to your groin. And then you can bring your hands to the sides of the feet here and imagine that the feet are like a book, the 2 pages of the book, and you're going to open the book. So we're kind of like opening the book, and that gives us a little bit more better position so that we can bring the knees down. All right, and you can also bring the hands to the back initially if you want to, just warm up, even lifting the hips a little bit here. So bring your hands to your feet, and now we're going to lean forward, so bringing the pubic bone to the back, bringing the hips forward and the pelvis forward, and press the forearms on the inside of our legs. Now we're going to try to lift the legs, pressing them into the forearms, and the forearms gently down on the legs, but not too hard. 20% maximum of what the strength that you would be able to do. So 20%, guys. Don't be careful, because then if it's too much pressure, you can put too much pressure on the tendon. So you're all ready? Let's just gently bring the legs up into the forearms down on the legs. Hold it for 10 seconds. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Relax your legs down, and when you relax, try to see if you can come a little bit deeper here. And then just stay here. So we got that relaxation from the inner thighs, so the adductors, and now we just came a little bit forward. And now we're going to do it one more time. Just bring the legs up into your forearms, the forearms in the legs for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax your legs down. And then as you relax, try to see if you can come a little bit further down. Stay here. One more, girls. Let's just go and press the legs on the forearms for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and try to see if you can come over. And then gently release. Scoop up your knees, help them to bend. Extend the legs. Bring your hands to the back, shake it, shake it. Let's come into child's pose. Gently come, toes together. Breathe in, breathe out. Move a little bit from side to side. And then gently come and lay down on your belly. Just stay a little bit here, moving your bum from side to side. And then bring the forearms on the mat parallel, palms down, shoulders on top of your elbows. A little bit of a Sphinx here, reset pose. And we've got one more to practice before we're gonna come up into our peak pose. So gently coming back to your computer. So let's see the next one. So the next one is going to be time under passive tension.
The last way we can use to deepen the stretch is time under. The last way to deepen the stretch, and for me the most important one, is time under passive tension. To practice this method, we're going to use the frog pose, Hanumanasana or Bekasana.
Having either one of these knee things for the knees that you can slide, or a blanket. I'm going to use the blanket because my floor is wooden and it protects also my ankle. So it depends on where you are. So you can put your blanket next to your, just going to turn this a little bit more, next to your mat, because we're going to bring one leg into our mat and one leg into the blanket. All right, so bring your hands here. Also, you can bring some pillows here, and maybe a brick. You might need one. I'm also gonna have my timer here. So firstly, this is stupid. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Bring your knees under your shoulders too, but then just let them spread out. But keep this alignment, so the hip in the same line as the knee. And then we're going to turn, flex the feet and open up here so that the knee now is in line with the ankle at the back. And then gently, when your knee goes into your blanket, it's going to slide now on the floor. So it's important to have just only one knee, otherwise if you have both knees in blankets, you would go whoop, and then you would definitely hurt yourself. So let's very gently, I'm going to put a timer of 3 minutes for this one, guys. I'm going to be holding this for 3 minutes. Time under passive tension, all right? Time. Okay, so now maybe you want to come into your forearms, maybe on a blanket, maybe on the floor, in a way that feels comfortable for you. And let's just breathe. Now, I want you to try and breathe double the exhalation. We're going to try to breathe in through the nose for 4 and out through the mouth for 8. So breathing in and breathing out. Breathe in, breathe out. Try to relax, not moving anything, just letting gravity slowly pulling you down. If you want to, you can bring a brick so you can support your forehead here, so it just feels more comfortable for your neck. Just keep breathing. So these poses, they require quite a lot of patience. So it's important here to keep pressing the belly button in towards your spine, so you're not sinking so much from your lumbar spine. You're always going to sink a little bit because the nature of the pose. But we want to keep control of that. So keep the whole of your corset around your body, all the muscles of your body engaged, and your forearms engaged, so you're really protecting yourself from harming your lumbar spine. Breathing in and breathing out. So if you feel you can come quite deep, maybe you use a pillow here to support your chest. And then as you notice your body is coming deeper, you adjust the props, but your body here is going to want to go forwards. Your body is asking you, go forward so I can come out of here. All right, so you don't want to do that. You want to press your hands firmly, your forearms, to keep your body from going forwards, to keep this alignment on the hip and the knees. So breathing in and breathing out. I know ballet dancers, sometimes they spend like 30 minutes or more in poses like this. And that is how you actually achieve more transformation in your body, in the shape and the length of the muscles. In this case would be the muscles, you know, on your adductors inside your legs, but also on your hips, the muscles around your hips. Everything is lengthening here around your hip joints. So just be patient, feeling that mild discomfort, trying to relax as much as possible. We reached our 3 minutes. So I would probably go even lower, and you too, if you would hold it for longer, but we have more things to do today. And let's bring the hands under the shoulders. Now bring the weight into your hands, all the weight into your hands. Lift so you can release the back of the legs, bring the toes together, and then gently push yourself back into a wide leg child's pose here just for a moment. Feel that nice release when you do that. And then gently climb up again, and then bring your hands to your mouth, so you can just bring both hands here and come into a shorter distance with the knees, child pose. And just move a little bit from side to side. And then come into your fours. Just sit down in a capital N again. Feet hip distance apart. Hands to the back. And let's just drop the knees. Feel that internal rotation. Feel that release in the back of your in your lower back. Just really relaxing here. All right, so now we're gonna go into our peak pose, the splits pose, and we're gonna apply everything, all the methods that we've learned so far in the preparation poses and in the pose itself. So I'm just gonna quickly show you how it looks. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but it is this. I'm just gonna share the screen quickly.
Before we move into our peak pose and preparatory poses, I would like to tell you that in yoga, there are other ways to deepen the stretches. We can use the prana vayus, the body's subtle energy pathways, and also breath control, pranayama. Prana vayus, awareness of the subtle energy pathways to deepen a stretch. The body works like a complex system where all the muscles interact with each other under the mind's conscious control or nervous system. In yoga, the way energy flows through the body via these subtle energy pathways is known as prana vayus. Prana meaning energy and vayus paths. There are 5 main prana vayus. Prana vayu, circle energy inward and upward. Apana vayu, downward energy. Udana vayu, upward energy. Samana vayu, inward energy. And Vayana vayu, outward energy. We can also use our breath to deepen a stretch by having shorter, deeper inhalations and then longer, deeper exhalations through the mouth. So let's come and put it all together to practice Hanumanasana, the splits or monkey pose. We're going to apply all the methods we've learned so far to each and every of the preparatory poses so we can deepen our stretches.
Before we go there, let's just do one round of moon salutations, because they're quite good actually to open the hips. So I think it's nice to do one round and then we go into the poses. So come with the feet hip distance apart or together, but I would suggest hip distance apart, just feels nicer. And then breathe the arms up. As you're going to breathe out, we're going to come and to your left side. Breathe in to right, breathe out to the right side. Breathe in, bring your left knee up and then just lunge it so you can come into goddess with Hanumanasana. So you can bring your hands if you want in Jnana Mudra here and this fingers, the indexes and thumbs together if it feels good. Tuck the tailbone in. And then just extend everything, 5-point star. Now bring your right foot in, your left foot out, so it's parallel to the big side of the mat. Extend your arms to the side, come into a triangle pose. Breathing in, hands to the chin, and then breathe out here into a triangle. And then look down, and then you're going to bring this hip down, so you square the hips now to the floor. We're coming up into pyramid Parsvottanasana, so you can bring the fingertips light on the floor. Try to keep this front leg straight if you can, or just micro bend that knee. Breathing in and trying to breathe out, bringing the chest closer to the leg. And then you're going to bend both knees, bring the hands to the floor, drop the knee at the front, drop the toes there at the back. And let's come into Hanumanasana low lunge, breathing in. And breathing out, squeezing the body if you want some back bend here. And then bring the hands down and then just bring the hands here so the fingers are pointing to the big edge of the mat. Now, you're going to tuck the toes at the back, lift both heels, pivot through the pads of the feet, and then you can come into a squat here. So the heel can be high and you can be with your hands here. Flex that foot. If you can bring the heel all the way down, great. You can still keep the hands here if you want, or you can bring them into a prayer pose, okay? Anjali Mudra. And now you're going to bring the arms away, diagonal but parallel, shoulder distance apart. Press it here, bring the weight forward to your hands, lift the hips, and change to the side in the position that feels right for you. From here, bring the hands to the front, pivot through the back foot, square the hips to the front, drop the knee, come into your low lunge, breathing in and breathing out. Dropping the hands, tucking the toes at the back, coming into Parsvottanasana, so pyramid pose. Breathing in and breathing out. Now bring your right hand to your ankle or to your chin to come into a triangle pose. Now from here, press deeply on your front foot on the floor to come out into a 5-point star and back into a goddess pose. And now from here, your right leg is going to lift and come to your left. Arms up, breathe out to the right, breathe in, breathe out to the left, back to the center. And release your arms, you're going to start again on that direction. So let's breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathe in, you're going to lift your right knee and you're going to step out into a goddess pose. Really deeper if you can here. If you want to play around with it, you can even lift the heels if it feels good. Drop it and come into your 5-point star. Turn your left foot in, your right foot out, open the arms, triangle pose. Breathe it in, really make sure this hip is really high. Finding that place where it feels good to be. Keep opening the shoulder at the top, opening the chest. Pranavayu here and Vayanavayu. Now bring the hip down, squaring those hips to the floor, looking down. Fingertips slide, you can just stay here if you want to. If you want more, as you breathe out, bring your chest closer to your leg. Now bend the knees, drop it and release the toes at the back. Low lunge, breathing in, breathe out. Release the hands. Bring in again the fingers pointing to the big edge of the mat. And then tuck the toes, pivot, pivot, pivot. And come into that squat with extended leg. Knee cap is pointing to the ceiling, as so are the toes. Now bring those arms parallel and then just place them away from you. Bring the weight into the hands, lift the hips, change sides, find the squat. Bring the hands to the side, pivot, come into your low lunge. Breathing in, breathing out. Releasing, tucking the toes at the back, coming into a Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Breathing in, breathing out. Bring your left hand to your ankle and find your triangle. Breathe in and breathe out. From a triangle, press deeply on the front foot. So you might need to micro bend the knee, that's okay. So press the floor away so you can come into a 5-point star. Turn your toes to the outside and then sink into your goddess. Maybe again lifting those heels if it feels good. Releasing back down. And now we're going to bring our left leg back to the right. Breathe in and breathe out. Side flexion, breathe in and breathe out to the right. Breathe into the center, release your arms. All right, so now we're really warmed up to continue. Let's come into a downward facing dog. So face the back of your mat. Feet hip distance apart. Roll all the way down. And then just walk your hands until you find that dog. Find your dog. And then from here, we're going to go into our first preparatory pose. We're going to go into a low lunge. So bend the knees and bring your back foot, so your right foot to the front. Drop the back knee, so the left knee. And come into your low lunge here, breathing in. And then we're going to release the hands here and just stay here. So we're going to apply time and the passive tension here. Just breathing. Now we're going to try and come with opening the toes a little bit further out and maybe even bringing the heel a bit further out. And we're going to try and apply time and a passive tension here too. So maybe coming into your forearms. Maybe you need some breaks here. So if you bring some breaks, maybe it can be higher here. Just stay for a little while here. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. And again, breathe in. So this lizard pose, Uttan Krishnasana modification. Time and the passive tension. And now from here, we're going to press through the hands. We're running a bit out of time, so it can't be as long. But bring your right hand to the other side of the hand. And we're going to try and extend this leg, the front leg, your right leg, and just drop the hips to the back. And then we're going to go front again and back. So now what we're going to do is just spending 2 or 3 breaths here, really feeling the stretch here on your hamstrings, and then we're going to do the stretch reflex. So we're going to turn off the stretch reflex by bending. So the muscle spindle stretch receptors stopped firing, and now we can go back and maybe can deeper. Breathing in and breathing out. And then again, we're going to flex the knee, bend the knee, wait for a little bit, and then try to see if you can even come even deeper, bringing your hips forward, feeling that moving, the stretch moving through your butt and in your lower back and all of your back. So we play a bit also with the origins and insertions of the muscles. All right, now stay here. Now we're going to apply some PNF on this position. So we're trying to stretch the hamstrings, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to bring the heel towards the knees and the knee towards the heel. Like imagine that you're in a very slippery mat, so slippery that you can't stay in this position. So your body's really trying to squeeze together. So you're going to squeeze the heel to the knee to the heel. You can keep your hands very light here just for balance, okay? Let's go. PNF 10 seconds. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. All right, so we were contracting the hamstrings that we tried to stretch. And now try to come back and try just to notice if you can come deeper. Breathing in and breathing out. PNF is amazing. It just makes you go so much deeper, relaxing your hamstrings. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to do the attempt of the splits on this side. So you're going to need bricks. You're going to need probably one more or even a block. So blocks and bricks. So what we're going to do, come into a tabletop, bring your right leg forwards like you had, and just come and place maybe a block and a brick to start with here, right? Under your hip. Okay? And then you can bring these ones here to the sides so you can stay here. So you can bend this knee quite a lot. You can try to bring this knee to the back. So if you need some protection, bring a blanket or something at the back. But try to square those hips to the front. Stay here, straight back, knees still bent. Now you're going to try and press the hands on the block so you can release the leg and straighten the knee. Okay, now knees straighten. All right, guys, what shall we apply now? Shall we apply inhibition, muscle inhibition? Okay, so let's squeeze the quads to relax the hamstrings, okay? But because we're sitting on some bricks here on the hamstrings, let's just use our bricks here so we can lift a little bit, but we're still squeezing our quad. We're going to lift to release the hamstrings, squeezing the quads, okay? So everybody bring the kneecap up, squeeze the quads, squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then relax. You might notice that you're good to take one of the props at least or something. So try. And then we can do it again. So we're going to press with the blocks. We're going to lift a little bit so we can release the hamstring there. And we're going to squeeze the quads at the front. All right, reciprocal inhibition. Squeeze the quads at the front, squeeze, feeling really hardening there. And then gently start to releasing and see if it feels more comfortable for you. Maybe you can even remove the other prop. All right, so now we're going to apply time and the passive tension. We're just going to stay here, hands out on the floor, on your bricks. Breathing in. And if you can come deeper. You can maybe completely relax here. Breathing in and breathing out. And then gently to come out of it, bring the hands down, push the floor away so you can release your legs, bend the back leg. And let's just have a little bit of leg release here. Shake the legs, one direction, the other. Let's do a little bit of our knee drop, one side, the other. Oh, I can feel that on my bum, on those hip external rotators. Only on that side that we were doing the split, so now I'm going to feel it on the knees. And it's the same, we've been working those muscles. And now we're going to try everything on the other side. So come into a tabletop. Circle the front leg or your left leg to the front and come into a low lunge. So the knee on top of your ankle and just relax here for a moment. So time and the passive tension. Breathing in and breathing out. Just breathing, not applying any effort, nothing. And then when you're ready, you can start maybe to see if it's in you today to open the toes out and maybe scoop the heel and move the foot a little bit further out and to the front. And then bring those bricks. And then perhaps you can come into your forearms. Breathing in, time and the passive tension, and breathing out. Maybe you want to support your forehead on a brick. Let's use our breathing in for 4, out through the mouth for 8. As you breathe and come deeper, and maybe adjust your props. All right, we could stay here for longer, but we're running out of time. So shoulders on top of your wrist. Gently press the weight into your hands so you can release the back leg. You're going to bring your left leg outside, and we're just going to try and flex the foot and see if we can sit a bit down here. Breathing in, breathing out. Just finding that mild discomfort on the stretch here on your hamstrings. And then we're going to turn off the stretch reflex. So we're going to bend the knee. And we're also working with the insertions and origins on this one, okay? We're going to create more space, pump more space from our muscles so we can gather that and then come deeper in our stretches. So breathing in, flexing the foot, getting that extra space here in between the insertions and the origins, and then pivoting through the pelvis here so we can come deeper. We gather that space, and now we're going to bend the knee again, relaxing now the hamstrings. Relaxing those hamstrings, and when we're going to go deep again, we're going to try and see if we can come deeper with our torso so we can gather more space between the hamstrings, origins and insertion, and coming up to our gluteus. So let's try to extend the knee by contracting our quads. Breathing in, bring the chest closer, so feel now the stretch coming up your glutes, your hamstrings. Breathing in and breathing out. Now you should feel the stretch coming up all the way up your back. And then release. Let's try a little bit of that PNF, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to bring the heel towards the knee towards the heel. Remember, slippery floor, slippery mat. So we try to be on the mat, fingertips slide, and let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Feel the release now in your hamstrings. Take that into your advantage. Breathe in and breathe out. Look how much deeper you can come. Releasing. Let's come and attempt our splits Hanumanasana. So this pose, Hanumanasana, comes from Hanuman. Hanuman, one of the most adored figures in Hindu mythology, half human, half monkey. His father was the son of the god of the wind, and he is known. So let's bring this bricks to the side. Hanuman is known from his amazing leaps. So he would jump like amazing leaps, like doing the splits. His famous myth is going from India to Sri Lanka to save Sita, the wife of Ram. And this is from a story from the Ramayana from the 4th century BCA. So before Common Era. So bend the knee, relaxing those hamstrings here. And now what we're going to do, we're going to press the hands on the bricks. We're going to try and straighten the knee and flex the quads to relax the hamstrings, all right? Reciprocal inhibition. So let's go. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. So Hanuman was amazing with his leaps. Another time he leaped all the way to Himalayas, the mountains, to get some medicine from plants. But then when he got there, he realized he went too fast. When Ram asked him to go, he didn't wait to get instructions of where those herbs were. So he took the whole mountain of the Himalayas back to Ram, and then poor thing had to go and put it back. All that, with his famous lips, with the splits, releasing down, noticing if you can come a little bit deeper, maybe taking a brick away. Time and the passive tension here a little bit. Just breathing in and out, trying to keep those hips level to the front, squared, lengthening from the crown of the head. Feeling those energies, the vayus that work here, helping you with your stretches. So Vayana Vayu, outwards energy, and then Udana Vayu to the sky, and the grounding energy, Samana Vayu, all helping also with our energy so we can stretch. Let's do one more time. Squeeze your quads, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Breathe and squeeze, and now as you release, stay where you are with your prop, just feeling the deeper stretch, or just releasing if it feels good. And then using these blocks here, breathing in, and just time in the passive tension. You can stay upright, or you can breathe in and just come lower. Breathing out, relaxing. You can do 4 in through the nose, 8 through the mouth. And you can stay a bit longer here, but we're running out of time. So bring the hands under the shoulders. Bring the weight into your hands so you can release the back leg gently, slowly, in control. And then just bring your legs together. Let's do a little bit more leg shaking. Shake the legs, proud chest so you're not sinking here to the sides. Just letting the pinky toes come to the floor, and then the thumbs to the other side, just move it. And then just bend the knees, and again, a little bit of a release. Internal rotation of the hips here too. Just a nice reset. All right, so we're reaching at the end of our workshop. I just wanted to do a very slow relaxation, and then I am going to be available for questions. So let's just do a little bit, 5 minutes of relaxation. So we just end it in a really nice way. So if you can, and if you want, just turn off the lights a little bit in your room so you feel a bit more cozier. It's not going to take long, but it's going to make you feel really nice. Maybe you want to sit down. Maybe you want to just lay down, completely up to you. Wherever you are, just start to surrender to the mat. Feeling the connection with earth. Feeling awareness of your body. Just noticing how your body is feeling right now. The sensations in your body. Maybe your body is feeling very heavy. Or maybe your body is feeling very light. Just noticing. Not judging, just being aware. Connecting with your breath now. How does your breath feel in your body? The temperature of your breathing as you breathe in, as the air comes in through your nostrils. And as the air leaves through your nostrils. Noticing the rhythm of your breath, dancing with your chest and belly. As you breathe in, notice your chest lifting, your belly lifting. And as you breathe out, notice your belly deflating and your chest deflating. Feel a wave of relaxation starting to come into your body from your toes all the way up your legs. Relaxing all your joints from your feet to your hips, your ankles, your knees, your hip joints completely relaxed. Now feel that relaxing sensation coming up your spine. So every vertebra in your spine feels melting down into the floor. So relaxed. Feel your chest relaxing, your belly relaxing, your shoulders melting down all the way to your fingertips. So your arms, Feel your neck completely relax. The back of your head, the top of your head, the front of your head and your face, your jaw, cheeks, the muscles around your eyes, everything relaxed. Just take a few more moments here to really let go. Let go of any thoughts. Just enjoying being with you. Just yourself, your body, your breath, and your clear and relaxed mind. Slowly start to bring your awareness back into your room, becoming aware of any noises. Inside your room or outside. And inviting some gentle movement into your body. Extremities first. Fingers and toes. Maybe circling your wrists, your ankles. Maybe squeezing your hands into fists and then opening again. Maybe flexing your feet and pointing. And then maybe you want to stretch your arms overhead. Or maybe you want to bring your knees to your chest. And stay there a couple of breaths, maybe massaging your lower back with gentle circling. And when you're ready, just slowly come onto one side and stay there for a couple of breaths. And then gently place your hands on the floor to help you come up to a seated position. Make sure your spine is nice and long. Your sit bones are rooting down. And when you're ready, let's circle the arms all the way up. Hands together and to your heart and Anahata chakra, to your third eye. Namaste. Thank you. I will come to you